How's it going? I've always wanted to make these kind of video diary videos where you just sit and talk to a camera for 10 minutes or something and just talk about how you think about your life and how, share life lessons, how you think and how you behave, and kind of share them with people. And then that kind of can share your way of thinking to them and maybe help them to change their way of thinking. Because thinking and the way your brain perceives things is basically how you live your life. If you think about things in a negative light constantly, then everything becomes negative. You know what I mean? If you think about things positively and, be thankful for things and how things are going in your life, things can actually shift and things become just seemingly more positive. But today I wanted to talk about something that's been on my mind recently, and it's how to stop overthinking, because overthinking is a huge problem nowadays, and it's something I've dealt with for a long time, and I'm still dealing with now. I mean, I don't think you can just magically wake up and say, oh, I've stopped overthinking, I'm great at this now, because it's very hard to beat. I think I must have started becoming an overthinker probably when I entered secondary school, and when you're just around, especially when you're around girls, you know what I mean? When you're around girls, you tend to think about how they feel and how to be the best person you can around them, and how they might react if you do a certain thing, especially when you're dating, right? And that's kind of a subtopic. Overthinking in dating, you can get really stressed about when they message and if you're doing the right thing, if you're showing up correctly in the relationship, or if you're being too much or being too little, or what this might mean and what that might mean. I'm in a field right now, I'm so conscious of people walking around. I'm overthinking about that, doesn't matter. And what I find is that none of these ways of thinking help. You can think all you want about how a girl might perceive your message, or if you're texting too much, or if all these things are going right or going wrong. But at the end of the day, there's only so much thought you can put into something until it's too much thought and you're just wasting your time thinking about it, when you could be doing other things. You could be, you don't have to be being productive, but you could just be having a peace of mind. Because genuinely, thinking too much about things leads you nowhere. That's the topic of today's video. I remember one day I really wanted to go to the park with my mates, and this is a true story. And I was in my room, getting ready, and then I was like, I feel really anxious about going. I'm kind of thinking the people around me, not my mates, but people who might see us hanging about, are just going to think we're losers or something. It's going to be weird, and people are going to judge me for it. Even today, whilst I'm sitting in a field recording this video, I was kind of thinking, oh, I don't know if I want to go out here. There might be people walking their dogs around here, and I don't really want to see them seeing me sit here and talk to a camera by myself. Overthinking makes messes when there is no mess at all. It doesn't do any good. Another analogy: if you think so hard about your problems, then they're just going to keep getting bigger, because they're becoming a bigger problem in your head. And then when you actually zoom out and look at your problem, you're like, wait, this is so simple. For example, right, I don't want to make it too personal, but if I'm talking to a girl, for example, and sure, I'll use this as an example. If I'm talking to a girl, or if I'm texting her, I might start hyper focusing on the text and being like, she'll ask, hey, how was your day? And I'll sit there and think, wow, she's showing interest, let me show loads of interest back. And then you overthink that and you sprout out, and it doesn't help. Overthinking never helps. It's good to think about things, it's good to analyze things, but it's never good to overanalyze to the point where you're playing a chess game. And that's what I want to get into as well. When you think so much about things, everything becomes almost like a game. When you think about things you need to get done, things you want to do, You think about all the steps to get there, and then you remember, oh, I'm only on square one. Thoughts need to be a process. They need to be each day. I'll think a little bit more about this. I'll let things happen. I won't try to control how things are going to plan out. I'm not going to plan out everything because it's not going to help, because there's only so much thinking I can do that's actually going to benefit me in the next 7 days or such, you know. And a huge thing I find that you can reap, a reward you can reap from no overthinking, is straight up just not having to worry about how anyone thinks of you, because it doesn't matter. And as well, it's the benefits you get of realizing that, like, everything I do has a purpose for me, and I can mess up, and that's okay, you know. I kind of went off the hook there. I kind of forgot my point, but that's okay. It's uncut. When you think so much about one little thing, it becomes your whole world. When you think so much about one specific problem, like when I think about, you know, for example, I failed an exam recently, and it was like so stressful. And then I came out of there and I was like, damn it, I failed this. What am I gonna do? This, like, I kind of needed to have this so I could continue my apprenticeship and continue doing well in my apprenticeship. And then I was like, wait, you know what? Tell you what, it's an exam. It's all right. I have another shot at it. I'll try again. This fail doesn't mean everything, you know? And it's the same when you're thinking about someone that you like. You think about them so much, and then they become your whole thought process. And then that's where it gets dangerous. That's where they live in your brain, and then you forget who they actually are on the outside, you know? Because you can think up a version of somebody, and then you kind of like, you're like interested in this version of that person, and then you forget, wait, they're not actually like that, because you made up a version of them. That's what overthinking does. And overthinking genuinely puts you in this spot where you feel like you're living in your brain more than you're just living actively. And it's good to live in your brain. It's good to be critical. It's good to think. It's good to be analytic, you know, about things. It's good to analyze. But only to an extent. All things in moderation, right? When I think, oh, there's bees. The flies are out. It's fly season. Yeah, when I think about, you know, someone I like spending time with, I do fall into that trap of, oh crap, I like this person, I need to hold on to them, I need to think about them all the time. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't need to think about them all the time, because you fall under the pressure of time being short, and, you know, your breath being short. You need to quick up the pace. You need to get with them, and, you know, you need to figure it out. You don't. Like, everybody says time goes faster, and it does when you get older. Time does get faster, and I'm noticing that now as I turn 18. Time does get a lot faster. But it doesn't mean you have to rush. There's no point rushing, and there's no point overthinking about the time and what you need to get done and all your problems. Don't focus on your problems. Let them be heard, let them exist in your brain, but don't let them become the forefront of your mind. Let them exist in the background and be your focus on some points, but remember, you are not your problems, and your life is not just all the issues. There's so much good you can make out of problems, you know. So yeah, anyways, I kind of blabbered on, but I'll do another one soon. Hope you enjoyed it. I enjoy talking. It's good to get things out. I'm a big speaker, so yeah, appreciate it you watching. Thank you.